What's up gamers? I've never done a commentary video before, but since I'm somewhat interested in this topic and I have very strong opinions on it, I figured I should attempt. So if you aren't familiar with this whole situation, there's a yandere simulator, quote-unquote, fan game that tried to be its own game called Love Letter: My True Feelings. And the developer was touted as the next yandere dev, the best possible alternative, and he turned out to be just as bad, if not arguably worse than yandere dev. So, this is a message to him. DrApeis, if you're somehow watching this video by some YouTuber with like 200 subscribers, and a shitty mic, this is my advice to you. You have done a lot of questionable things. A lot of things that most people would not do themselves, and the issue is that you're letting yourself be coddled by your fanbase. Like, when you released your video announcing that Love Letter had been cancelled, most of the comments were incredibly supportive, ignoring that the vast majority of this entire issue was completely your fault. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this entire game was basically created on spite. And when you create an entire project off of spite, you can't expect the fan base to be the most wholesome thing in the world. I'm just kind of going off my head here, and it's probably going to be awful, because, never done a commentary video before, but you know what, I'll try. And a lot of the things you've done, like keeping voice lines in the games when the actors told you that they do not want them in the game anymore, or keeping art in the game when people don't want it in anymore, that's just things that people with a basic moral code will do. They'll take it out and say, okay, I respect your wishes, but he didn't. He let it in there until the bitter end, and there's a lot of other things he's done, like targeting people who disagree with him, like a guy named Cameron, who, by the way, is a minor, and a YouTuber I watch called Omnia probably got her video rated by Love Letter fans. There's no confirmation for Omnia, but if you want to look into it, you can watch her video, because she has a lot of info on it, and she's good. She is queen. You should watch her videos. Back to the topic at hand. His fan base coddles him, as I already said, and that's not healthy. That's not a healthy state to be in. He seems to have learned from none of his mistakes back when he was Narwhals Are Falling, and that's kind of disappointing because the game looked promising. The game in itself, not, the entire fan base and how toxic it was. That wasn't too promising, but, the rest was. He's done a lot of other really questionable things, like, he was actually, when he was 15, he was talking to a 10-year-old in a very sexual manner, which is really disgusting in a lot of obvious ways that I'm not bothering to go into. But what I'm trying to say is, he does a lot of gross things, and he's treated like he's 6. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. DrApeis, this couldn't have been prevented, it's not your fault. It is. It was his fault. And this is just trying to say, take criticism. Just take it. If it's constructive, you need to take it. If you're putting things out on the internet, you're opening yourself up to criticism. That's just a fact. Me posting this video with my art in the background, that's me opening myself up to criticism. If somebody gives me constructive criticism, I'm not going to completely go off on them like, you're bullying me, I hate you, go kill yourself. I'm going to raid your videos like good old Apis did. You have to take advice sometimes. You gotta take it. And a lot of people seem to think that, not talking to 10-year-olds in sexual manners when you're 5 years older than them is, like, really unreasonably high standards to hold yourself to. I'm younger than him. I hold myself to standards higher than this guy does, and that's really gross in my opinion. Like, I don't understand how he thinks that what he does is acceptable, because it just isn't. And if you watch his video, he's blaming the fan base, like, oh, the fan base was so toxic, I can't go on. He bit off more than he could chew. He paraded himself as the next yandere dev. The yandere simulator made in 2 weeks, and that's kind of where his downfall came from. But no, he can't accept that, and had to have been the fan base's fault. this has been a disaster of a video, and I really doubt it takes up at least even half the speed paint, but you know, whatever. That's my video. Sayonara. See you later, maybe.